Hello everyone, it's me Olenify, or if you know me IRL, Olen. Now, I know you've all read the title of the video. Yes, I am transgender. Now, this will definitely be a shock to my friends and family that I've sent this long-ass video to, but before you spam message and call me, I just want you to know that I'm still me. I'm still the same person, and I'm human too. I know most of you will take this badly, but this is why the video is so long, as I'm going to try to tell my story. Some other trans peoples I know opted in to tell their stories, and I can't speak this enough, the facts about being transgender. I guess so this little intro disclaimer, sit back, relax. If you're listening in the background, you won't be missing much. I'll probably just have some Celeste gameplay in the background and just some supportive photos. I love you all. Have fun. I've never liked being one of the boys. Hell, all my friends all throughout primary school and most of high school have been girls. I guess I just fit in with them more. Ever since I was like 8, I used to watch the other boys my age play around and wish I could feel as comfortable as they are to perform how they did, but, well, I never gossiped. It felt wrong. Not the act of gossiping, no, that's fine. More like the act of it, like, I wasn't deserving of that connection with other girls my age, as I'm a guy. Now, of course, as I got older, I became more mature and confident, well, as I could be, but one day I felt the most confident was in grade 6. Quick. When I was young, I had this sort of ritual where I read the same 2 David William books over and over and over. Those 2 were Gangster Granny and The Boy in the Dress. I'm sure you can see which one is relevant here. Now these books are amazing, and David Williams is a fantastic author. But the one I found myself most interested in was Gangster Granny. Not what you're expecting, huh? Well, one, it had a magical eye story and was terribly funny. But that's beside the point. I think the reason why Gangster Granny was my favorite is that every time I read The Boy in the Dress, I got this empty feeling in my chest. Like a deep jealousy that was so crushing, but yet I found myself strangely attached to this book, even though the feelings it caused me. And when I read books, I never imagined myself in them. I always imagined myself as the character, even like first-person books. But this one, I could never not think of me as that boy in a dress, you know? Well, book week came and I thought, you know what, 6th grade is nearly over, why not just go as him? So I did, and I swear, I was the most talkative person in the room. Swaying the dress around and around, man. It was beautiful to see me like that. The only time I was ever that, talkative was when I was in, like, kindergarten. Of course, cross-dressing isn't being transgender. And at that point, I didn't really know what being trans really was. Of course, I knew of it. I've always been supportive of all groups of people. I was one of the bullied, so I had to get used to helping others when I could. And I got used to being kind. But I knew of the LGBTQ, and I heavily related to the bi part. Although everything at the time was more of a performative to be, like, fit in than a real concrete sexuality for me. Although after going through puberty, I'm definitely sure younger me was onto something. They weren't 100% correct, but it's pretty close. I'm pan, which means that I basically like the person, not their gender, and whatever else comes with it. And being trans seems so alien to me. Like, how do they have the confidence to do that? Like, and I think me denying myself who I really am set me back. As I admit, I hate how puberty has changed me. The whole reason I'm coming out now is hopefully I don't have to grow into someone who isn't me. I'll touch more on how I feel about myself, but currently I feel like I have a bit more lore left. And now, 7th grade was really weird for me. Now, because I got into a really, really good high school, my parents opted for me to stay there when they had to move. Of course, I naturally wasted the entire opportunity. I was not a good person. But, nevertheless, so I lived with my grandparents for most of that year. Hi, Nan. In the first week of high school, I got my first partner. He was a trans man. Okay. Quick detour. For the lingo, I'll be for the lingo I'll be using inside this video, I think I gotta get one thing straight. Okay, a trans woman is a biological man who transitions into a female, and trans man is a biological woman who transitions into a man. Okay, so just think of it as like trans woman as just woman, and trans man as just man. Okay, that'll probably make it a lot more easier inside your brain. All right. No, my ex-partner was not a good person at all. But that is irrelevant to this video. Most people I know IRL will know the whole thing, but I'm not going to share here. But the one thing they did to me was treat me more about how trans worked, and a real hands-on approach to the whole thing. But I didn't really crack yet. Okay, first trans note. Cracking is a trans term. It is a pre-transitioning person realizing they are trans, like an egg cracking. So like egg doesn't actually reach its full potential until it cracks. So it's like a metaphor thing. Now, the whole 1 month we dated was the first time I actually realized trans people actually really existed. And I'm actually really glad that I met him, because I met probably the most important person for me and my journey, Isaac. Now my IRLs will know him pretty well. Some of you guys will know him from a different name that he used. Because well, I talk about him all the time. But I promise you that from this point forward is what I consider to be the cracking phase of my transition. So that brings us to part 1.2, cracking the egg. Now, me and Isaac bonded over our shared experiences with my ex, because before we hated each other, like at each other's throats, and that was my ex's fault. But luckily we were able to connect over this one shared thing. Now, I will be the first to admit, it took me like a good 2 months to realize Isaac was a trans man. Trust me, you would not realize, like, at all. Now, yeah, but when I found out he was a trans man, I cracked a little bit. I was like, trans people can actually be their gender. It's not just a man in makeup or a woman in jeans, but an actual woman or man. Now, me and Isaac have had so many fun experiences together, and I would share, but I'd rather save it for the future, because I can make a whole other video about it, which, you know, if this goes well, I might. But we used to go out and do urbexing and scooting down the area. And I remember one time Isaac said to me, "You know, Olin, it's funny. When I first saw you, I thought you were a trans man. You're very, very girlish." Enough. Obvious. I'm sure that's obvious to why that made me, you know, a bit, I don't know, a bit happy, but also anxious. No. I went online later in the year, I think, like, like August maybe. And I thought, wouldn't it be funny to make an account on a platform I won't share for my privacy, but y'all aren't finding my old accounts. My sister's bullying enough for me enough for my old TikTok account. Wait, I'll probably put a video on the screen. But anyways, wouldn't it be funny to make an account and pretend to be a girl? And just seeing people call me her and not him felt like strange, but in that good, like, anticipation way. Like a first kiss kind of way. And I completely. And like, I couldn't tell anybody. And this was like 2022, 2023. So I've been thinking about this for a long, long time, and I've tried many alternatives. I've tried being more masculine. I've tried flirting with more women, flirting with more guys, acting more girlish, but nothing I do can really fix this in me. No. Where was I? Yeah. So now we're going to time jump to early 2024, when I came out as trans to my online friends. I think Isaac and all those other, like, sort of Discord groups. It went well. As I only surround myself online with people I know will like me, for me, something I can't exactly be certain with everybody in real life. And hearing them call me a girl was like amazing. Like, that hole in my heart I felt my whole life was just for a moment like full. So yes, people I know in real life, I've been LARPing as a girl. LARPing means live action real fun. For the past year. And honestly, I felt the most me I have ever felt in my whole life. Something bad happened. Something really bad happened. Puberty. No. Okay. Part 1.3. I know there's a little part ones. Why I'm even coming out under the age of 18. Okay. Now, I know that people, specifically my parents, probably won't take this very well. And I wish I could just come out later in life, like when I'm over 18, or even just not come out to them at all and just not let them know out. No, but there is one crucial reason why I think this is important. I hate my body. Not myself, like I don't hate myself, just my body. My whole life I felt like I've been watching my life through a screen. Like I haven't been involved in anything I do. I've never felt like Olin, our son, our brother, my boyfriend. It's felt like a title placed on me, like a job I have to work and fulfill to serve others. The only time I've ever felt alive is in my dreams as a girl, when I finally come out and I'm happy. I'm happy and I'm me. I can feel my emotions and not pretend and pretend to be somebody I'm not. And of course, that one day in year 6, that was a good day. Male puberty. Puberty is great, alright? No periods, taller, more strong, more likable, more attractive, more confident, facial hair, deep voice. Olin would love those things, as it would make pretending easier. And I hate it so much. Whenever I get hair, I have to rid of it. Leg, arms, butt, other places. Whatever. I need it gone. I have to get rid of it. Makes me wish I never had a face at all. And honestly, it really makes me sad. I just want to look at myself and be happy with what I see back. Now, gaining muscle is useful for sure, okay? Cannot tell you how many times that saved me at work with carrying plates. I would trade every single ounce of strength that I have to have soft arms and hands, to not have that aura to me that says I am a girl and not Olin, because I am not Olin. I wish I could be him, but he's just not me anymore. Now, the whole reason why I'm doing this is because I need some sort of medication. I'll get into the specifics later. I need to stop puberty before it makes my voice any lower, or makes me taller, or makes me gain more hair, or makes me hate Olin more and more. Now, alright, I'm sure me and you both know teenage boys love to stare. Trust me, I know. They love to stare at women, they love to stare at each other, they love to stare at fucking birds in the sky. But I find whenever I stare at a girl or somebody feminine, it's not out of any lust, it's more jealousy. Like, if I were her, I'd take so much care of myself and I wouldn't hide my face or look so sad. I'd be so happy to be her. And then that empty feeling comes back so much worse. It's sort of a tight, constrictive, crushing feeling, and I wish I could get rid of my skin and craft myself the way I'd like to. Which sounds weird, but I found out it's actually extremely common for trans people while writing this script. So I had a little note for myself saying, "Hi, future me recording this. You're doing great. Thank you, Pastor. I'm actually really anxious right now." And this empty feeling has a name: gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria is defined as a state of severe distress or unhappiness caused by the feeling that one's gender identity does not match the one's sex as registered at birth. That's from just a brief online search. And the only way I can ever be happy with myself is if I do the hard thing and come out. And that brings us to now. Good job, everybody still here. It truly means you do care about me, and I can't be more thankful. And I do hope my IRLs mean people I know in real life, especially my parents, have accepted the fact that I'm transgender, and that this is not a phase, and that this isn't like me, like, coming out as bi, where I'm not too sure. I'm like, this is certain. I honestly don't know how much longer I can take not feeling my emotions, not feeling as myself. Now, yes, this constant feeling, and I mean constant feeling of pure and utter despair. Now, with that cheery note, that brings us to part 2. Personal stories from friends and other trans people I know or watch. But this part will be a lot more shorter than part 3, which will be the real meat and potatoes of this video. First up, we have Isaac's video, then we have my friend Quinn's statement, and then we have a clip from a YouTube video, and these will hopefully give you some context. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. Yeah.
I'm transsexual or transgender is probably the term you're more familiar with. What does that mean? I was born female. I have XX chromosomes, probably. I have a vagina. I have a uterus. But I transitioned to be a man. I did not transition to be a trans man. And all I actually want is to just be normal. Despite what mainstream media might make you believe it's not true. I have a neurological disorder. It is a medical condition which requires treatment, and the only treatment which actually alleviates the suffering is transition. I feel the way I do not as a byproduct of something underlying like depression or internalized misogyny, but because my brain has a mismatch between myself and my physical body. Besides physical gender, sex, there is pretty much nothing different between me and your average male. And that's how it works for all of us. I don't want to be trans. Nobody who's truly trans wants it, unless I guess they thrive in being strange. I can't speak on that. People, they can do whatever they want. I don't care. But, most of us, we actually just want to be normal people. That's all we want. It's all we've ever wanted. Transition is not like body modification. It feels like getting the treatment you need for a medical condition. A body modification is aesthetic. A medical treatment is just a necessity. You get piercings and other body modifications to express yourself, make yourself a little more unique. I get surgery and transition to make myself feel normal. I don't tell anyone I'm trans. I use the men's bathroom because that's where men go to piss, and if I were to use the female bathroom, I'd freak people out, which has actually happened. I do not need to tell people my pronouns, and I do not force anyone to use the correct pronoun. I never have. I earned the right for being respected as a male. I don't demand it without putting in my own effort. Mainstream media transgenderism will only ever be what you see because me and others like me simply don't talk about it and the fact that we're trans. It's not relevant. We aren't in hiding, we're just living our lives as normal people because that's what we are. We're normal people with a medical condition. Transition doesn't help in the sense that it makes you feel amazing, cool, unique. It helps in the opposite. Sometimes all a person wants is to fit in, to be seen as a normal human being. A girl with a penis is not normal and it never will be. What has to change isn't the fact that she's a girl. What needs to change is her body. A girl with a penis can only become a girl with a vagina. A girl with a penis cannot become a boy with a penis. You cannot change your gender, just like transphobes will say, which is true. You cannot change your gender. A girl will always be a girl, so if that girl has a penis, then that needs to change. I have never changed my gender, and it is a lie that this is what it means to be trans. Transitioning is changing your physical sex characteristics so that the boy/girl on the inside doesn't feel like a freak. It could be a delusion, absolutely. There is a mental illness actually identical to transsexualism called Body Identity Integrity Disorder, BIID, not romanticized at all, but fundamentally the same as transsexualism. You already see, just from quick Google searches, the difference in how these two disorders are treated. Quick context, BIID generally involves, instead of say your sex characteristics, they feel like a limb on their body is not supposed to be there. Both can only be alleviated by fixing the source of discomfort, not by removing the discomfort caused by the source. A man with BIID cannot shake the feeling that his left leg is wrong and needs to be removed. This is different from schizophrenic delusions, by the way. A woman with transsexualism cannot shake the feeling that her penis and secondary sex characteristics are wrong and need to be removed. While BIID treatment amputation leads to the person becoming more unusual, and transsexual transition generally leads, like I said, to the person becoming more normal, which is the goal, they still are the same. It's based on the same premises. Delusion or not, the treatment remains the same. If there was an easier treatment, myself and other people would have done it already. I've tried to change to convert myself, but that simply doesn't work. No sane person would willingly choose the long, expensive, grueling process of transition. It's simply the only option. So no, there is no fixing your mindset. That's just not how it works. If you would prefer a person with transsexualism to never transition and live as a person they're not, which usually leads to suicide by the way, simply because you don't understand enough about the benefits of access to treatment, then that says a lot about you. We are normal people who want to get by. We are not the entitled freaks that you see on Twitter. We are like anyone else. Accepting us is no different than accepting handicapped people or people with a genetic or neurological illness that interferes with core life experiences. We simply want to live in society just as any normal person does. That is the truth. The idea that we want to make everything trans and gay and radical is far from the truth. In fact, most of us want to stray far away from those kinds of people, never to be associated with them. Transsexualism has nothing to do with gender, flags, sexuality, radicalism, pedophilia, fetishes, or grooming. At absolute base level, it's just a medical condition and nothing more than that. And all I want is for it to be seen that way. Dysphoria, it's not something that sits in the back of your head. It's always trying to get a hold, right? Reminding you that you're wrong and you'll never be normal. Even with positive thinking, even without any mental illness like depression, dysphoria still lives in your head fundamentally and permanently. Without depression, dysphoria doesn't disappear. It just doesn't completely take over your thinking since you're mentally stronger and don't let things affect you as much. You still know there's something wrong with your genitalia, something you can't accept and learn to love because it's not an insecurity, it's a real problem that needs to be addressed. Telling a trans person to just learn to love ourselves is the same as telling someone with Alzheimer's that their brain is fine and they just need to learn to love their memory loss and that it's okay. Telling a septic amputee that there's nothing difficult about being a paraplegic and that they just need to love the world and be more grateful. No matter how positive your outlook is on life, dysphoria will always bother you. Dysphoria is mental torture, and transition means everything to help that. Transition is the best thing you can give to someone who suffers from gender dysphoria and is transsexual, or you might want to call it transgender. The best way to show that you care for someone who is trans is by allowing them to undergo the processes that is necessary for them, because that will tell them that you understand, and even if you don't, it will tell them that you are willing to try to understand, sympathize, and that's all they need. You don't have to try super hard, you just need to accept them and treat them as normal people.
Like a type of feeling when you transition, and not even like surgery wise. Yeah, it's called euphoria, and if you don't feel it, that's probably a sign you probably shouldn't be transitioning. For me, it was really exciting when I started hormones, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm finally moving toward what I've been wanting for so long. And there's that like massive release of dopamine, and it's like, oh, this is a sign I'm on the right track.
Part 3. What is a woman? Now, Wikipedia, Oxford, and Cambridge dictionaries define a woman as, now I'm paraphrasing here, a human adult with the female gender. Not exactly female parts. Now, I know what I will hear from some people I know in real life. You can't be a girl if you don't have a uterus! Which is fair. But what about a cis woman? Cis being somebody who, identifies with their gender assigned to them at birth. What about a cis woman who's had their uterus removed for some reason? Are they no longer a woman? Okay, fair. Oddly specific and not really very practical. Here's another example though. You can't be a woman. Now, you went to high school and didn't bother reading any further into biology like I have. Yeah, turns out being alone makes you research the weirdest things. You may think this is where the trans myth is solved and we all kiss feet and hug cacti. No, the science actually is pretty clear. Chromosomes aren't actually always one-to-one to the person's gender. Not at all. Not even all the time. It's pretty confusing as a whole, and even I and most people don't fully understand it. But one thing I do fully understand is that something that I learned was that people with XX chromosomes can be born male, and people with XY chromosomes can be born a woman. So are these biological women suddenly not women because they have XY chromosomes? Force them to use the men's bathroom where they are a whole lot less safe. Like how trans women who pass as women and sometimes even have post-op surgeries to have the same parts as women, when forced to use the bathroom that doesn't fit their preferred gender, the rate of words on screen and violence go up by 7.2%. And there have been so many scientific studies showing that cis people are the opposite of trans people, just to make that clear. A grand total of 0 evidence of risk. Completely none. Nada. I have looked at so many reports, trust me, around this video, trying to find one example. But that's a bit any. No, I've listed my sources in the video description, as well as some good trans websites, some videos, and some hotlines. So if you're interested in further education, I will keep doing some crowd control, because I'm sure my family has gotten, because, you know, the family that's gotten this far either really does care and accept me, or is just hate watching at this point. So let me just answer some questions. Now, I am expecting to get messages pretty much instantly after I send this video to some people, even though I will say do not respond until you've, watched it. But anyways, enough thought. Let me tell you some more facts and some uncomfortable questions that you may have. So I'll kind of have a quick Q&A, except I'll have to sort of guess the kind of questions I'll get. And I'll have groups of similar questions. So, for example, group number 1. What is the real you / how much of you has been a lie / how do you still love me / like me? This is a tricky group of questions, so that's why I'm doing them first. Now, to be honest, it depends person to person. If you know me, please ask, if you need to. But if I have to use examples, I'd say this. The emotions I feel for you have not and won't ever change, okay? But the way you interpret me and my personality I put on are so different from the real me, and I can't guarantee you'll like me because I'm not Olin. I'm not him. And I promise I'm as close to him as anybody could get, and I love you all, and I hope this will be okay. I can't guarantee that I'll be the same. No. There was nobody in mind when writing that, but that's probably what I say to somebody who asks me one of those questions. Okay, question number 2, probably the one that I'll probably get the most, probably from my parents. 2, is this a phase? Have you been rushed into this? Now, believe it or not, I've been told that I'm really smart. Most of my most recent grades have been an A in science, a B in maths, and an A in English. I am extremely well read. I am very knowledgeable, and for somebody my age, I am very, very good at reading, and also, obviously, extremely humble. Now, this may seem irrelevant, but it is important to stress that I know what I'm doing. I know the risks of hormone replacement therapy, HRT for short, and I'll be calling it HRT for the rest of the video, and puberty blockers, and I'll cover them both nearish the end of the segment. I know that I'm young, to be. This may seem a little iffy to those who are in the trans community, but my personal beliefs is that if you go through puberty, like fully, most likely you won't pass. Now, passing is like being seen as a woman. Now, surgeries can help you with your face and your other parts, but most of the time it's not enough, and it's extremely expensive and not usually insured, because for some reason trans healthcare has been radicalized and politicalized, so it's considered more cosmetic surgeries when it is actual necessary medical surgery, even though the rates of trans people who don't get surgeries, suicide rates go up by I'm pretty sure 35%. I don't have this on the script right now, I'm kind of spitballing, but that's what I am pretty sure. It's gonna be around the 30%. Anyways. I know what I'm doing. I know the risks of HRT and puberty blockers. I'll also cover those near the end. And now I have to do this now. I know that I felt this way my whole life, even if I never knew its name. I was still trans. A rose called by any other name shall still smell as sweet. Of course. And God, fuck, no, it's not a phase. It's such a cliche, but this is going to be the worst way to respond to someone being vulnerable enough to tell you something like this, and then you dismissing it and doubting their own personal integrity. It's like if a person with a broken leg went up to you and said, "Hey, my leg's broken," and you went, No, I won't have it. It's actually a plot by Big Pharma to promote leg casts. Like, what are those? Now get on your feet and stop lying. You've been leg washed, and you'll go, why are you on the floor? Sounds pretty idiotic, right? And finally, group number 3 is only one question. But this is such a big question, and such a big thing that I will be asked, I just must try to have its own segment. These changes are permanent, and any other variation of a question, including surgery. Okay, that's the point I want to be. But fine, I'll indulge in this. So 1, HRT, hormone replacement therapy, including estrogen and estrol. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. It's another one. I can't remember off the top of my head. Is completely reversible, excluding 2 changes for HRT. But puberty blockers as well is free entirely. I'll start with puberty blockers because they're easier to explain. Puberty blockers have a harsh sounding name. They're more pauses. Puberty which means that as soon as you stop taking them, you'll start puberty as normal. Depending on how much hormones and stuff that you have, it depends on what puberty you'll go through. Now, which won't have any negative effects, which means that they fully get your money back guaranteed to be safe. And for them to work, now, estrogen has to be involved, and estrogens next. Now, I'll only cover the irreversible changes of estrogen, not any of the others, but I will leave a link to a trans woman's video where she ranked every change that she's had on estrogen, so you can, just check them out if you're interested, and what I will hopefully be going through in the next coming years of my life. So, the only real irreversible changes are 1, any breast development, which has an onset of about 3 to 6 months. It's usually permanent because of how body fat works. It can't really be moved back, as new fat connections have been made in the breast area. But 3 to 6 months is quite a long time for it to even start. And the worst case scenario, if I really, really regret it after like a year of doing it, it's not going to be the worst to hide. And I promise you, I will not regret it. I've, hidden worse, like this for like 2 years. This is probably the worst thing I've hidden from you guys. Now, 2, decreased sperm, fucking voice crack. Decreased sperm production and fertility. Now, this may seem bad, but good news, it is somewhat uncommon. But it's still high enough for me to talk about it. Now, personally, I'm not too upset if I'm infertile. Yeah, that sounds funny as a 15-year-old because I, have my whole life ahead of me. I'll probably change my mind. But honestly, having so many siblings means that I've got my fill of family to fill a lifetime. And but if I really, really want kids, I can freeze my sperm for the future. And honestly, if I want children, adopting is such a good way to take care of lonely kids with no family and give them parental guidance, love, and most importantly, a future. So, too long didn't read, TDLR. Hormones are mostly entirely reversible with 0 side effects. When/if you decide to reverse them, which is why it's super safe for me to start HIT. Wink, wink, parents. Now, according to a quick search and to my minute counter here, the video should be around-ish 30-ish minutes long, which is a decent pace for a video like this. But alas, my time to shine is growing. So let's do one last encore. The part I've been hinting at. If I'm not Olin, then who am I? Hi, my name is what? My name is who? My name is / actor and fakes, part 4. Okay, it was a stupid bit. Well, you've made it. The last bit of the video. I'm so happy for everyone who made it this far. Friends, family, and my online friends too. I love you all so much. And I hope you still like me regardless. So, I think I should introduce myself to you. Hi, my name is Vivian, Vivi for short. I go by she, her pronouns. I love gaming and art, and you'll probably know me from my animations or my lead actor role in the upcoming animated pilot by That One Idiot Lee, channel link below, Unidentified Smiles, where I play as Charlie. My favorite games in the whole wide world are Sonic Unleashed, Omori, on his Hell/Deltarune, Risk of Rain 2, Balatro, and The Binding of Isaac. I love music. I listen to all music except for country music, specifically Canadian country. My favorite artists are Jezebel Gabergable, Temptanol, Gorshit, Stomach Book, Lil Darky, Penelope Scott, Bo Burnham, and a whole lot more. Now, I like to think I'm trying to be as respectful to Olin as possible when I say this, but I don't blame anybody for not liking Olin. Hell, I mean, I had to pretend to be him for 15 years, and he wasn't ever truly happy, but always faking everything. What a weirdo. But I hope I can be a good replacement. Of course, I'm not leaving Olin behind forever. Every once in a while, he may have to come back. But hey, we can't all be perfect all the time. No. I have a special thank you to everybody who's helped make this possible. Notably Isaac. I will show the socials of him on screen. Isaac, my online support groups, and finally to you watching. No matter how important you are to me personally, I have to thank you, the viewer, for making my life a little bit more possible. Now, I'm going off script here, as this is the end of the video. I just have my sign-off left, but genuinely, I am so scared. At the time of recording this is the 4th of December 2025. I've been doing voice training for a few weeks now, and I'm going into a doctor's appointment tomorrow to hopefully get a referral to gender clinic. My parents don't know this yet, of course, because by the time I finish this video, it's going to be after I hopefully get the referral. If I don't get the referral, I'll still post this video. Hopefully I can just go straight to the gender clinic. And I just want anybody who thinks this is just going to be something that's going to be brushed under the rug. I'm not going to let you guys forget about this. Seriously, I am going to be so forward with this, and I really hope that you guys will love me as much as I love you guys, and yeah. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun sharing this video around, because I'm expecting myself to be fucking like having a panic attack when I send this to my parents. I don't know where I will be. I'll probably be like yeah, so when I post this, I'm probably gonna be somewhere, either at a friend's house, or just at school, or at work, or I'll be away from my family for at least 2 hours after I post this, so, I'll be somewhere. But, yeah. I really hope you guys take this well, and I know some of you won't, but honestly, if you can accept me now, then I don't really want you in my life. I love you all. From Russia with love, Vivian. Whoa, I did it, I fucking